having me, or...
Well, what do you expect, my friend? You fix upon me a look of dog-like devotion and demand of me a pronouncement a la Sherlock Holmes. Now for the truth. I do not know what the murderer looks like, nor where he lives, nor how to set hands on him.
Oh, if only he left us some clue.
Oh, yes, the clue. It is always the clue that attracts you. But there is no cigarette ash. Only an ABC guide with no fingerprints on it. We do not even know what we are looking for. We are like children playing cash in the dark.
In the days that followed, I find Poirot curiously reluctant to discuss the case, and I thought I knew the reason. He had sustained a defeat. ABC had challenged him, and ABC had won. The crime attracted little attention in the press, and I was certain that we had heard the last of it, when, on July the 25th, another letter arrived at the 6 o'clock post.
But read it to me, Hastings. Read it.
Dear Mr. Poirot, well, what about it? The Andover business went with a swing, didn't it? But the fun's only just beginning. Let me draw your attention to Bexhill-on-Sea, date the 25th of July. What a merry time we're having. Yours, ABC. Good God. Does this mean he intends to commit another murder?
Naturally, Hastings. Did you expect the Andover business to be an isolated case?
We must be up against a homicidal maniac.
Exactly. And this time, the surname of the intended victim will begin with the letter B.
But there must be something we can do to stop it.
I will warn the police, of course, but however well we are prepared, what is the sanity of Scotland Yard against the insanity of one man? Remember the long-continued success of Jack the Ripper.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yes, Hastings. It is horrible. I am afraid. I am very much afraid. But all we can do is wait.
On the morning of the 25th of July, we were up early, but we had scarcely begun breakfast when there was a repeated ring at the door. It was Jack.
It's happened, Poirot.
But the letter said the 25th. I mean, it's only 7:30.
It took place in the early hours of this morning, shortly after midnight.
At Bexhill-on-Sea?
Yes. The body of a young girl's been found on the beach, strangled. She's been identified as Elizabeth Barnard. She was a waitress at one of the cafes, lived with her parents. And there's something you should know, Poirot.
Yes.
An ABC guide was found underneath her body, open at the page for Bexhill.
And are you going down there now?
Not possible, I'm afraid, Poirot. I've got my hands full with the Astwell business. Inspector Crome's gone down there. I have an idea you may find that he's not exactly quite your type.
The body was found by one of those fresh air early morning colonels that abound in places like this. He was out with his dog about 6 a.m. Went along the front in the direction of Couden and down to the beach. Dog ran off and sniffed at something. Wouldn't leave it alone, and the colonel took a look for himself. Behaved very properly. Didn't touch the body, but went off and rang the police.
And the time of death was around midnight?
Between midnight and 1 a.m. Your homicidal joker is a man of his word, Mr. Poirot. If he says it's the 25th, it will be the 25th, even if only by a few minutes.
Yes, his personality is very interesting.
As it happens, I've been going into the psychology of the series killer. On the surface, the fellow looks the same as you or I. But there are various tests, you know, verbal traps, that sort of thing. Quite modern. There was nothing of that kind in your day. Once you can induce a man to give himself away, you've got him. He knows you know, and his nerve goes.
Even in my day, that happened sometimes. What can you tell me about the dead girl, Inspector?
She was 23 years of age and worked as a waitress at the Ginger Cat Cafe.
No, I know that. I was wondering if she was pretty.
Pretty? She didn't look very pretty in the mortuary.
And with what was the girl strangled?
With her own belt.
At last a piece of definite information. Now that tells one something, does it not?
It was a thick-knotted affair, apparently. The pathologist is having a look at it.
The girl was living with her parents, I understand.
Yes, they got a bungalow about half a mile from here.
And there are other members of the family?
There's a sister, works for a typing bureau in London. She's on her way down now. And there's her fiancé, Donald Fraser, an estate agent. Scottish, apparently. The girl was supposed to have been out with him last night. But I shall know more when I've seen the parents. I was just about to set off there when you arrived.
Well, we will accompany you, Inspector.
As you wish, Mr. Poirot. I don't think we should all crowd in on them together. Rather overwhelming for them, don't you think? If you've any questions you wish to put to Mr. and Mrs. Barnard, perhaps you could wait until I've had a word with them.
It doesn't seem as if he's very impressed by your legendary reputation, Poirot.
On the contrary, my friend, he is very impressed by it. That is why he is so anxious that I should not, how do you say it, steal any of his lightning.
Well, since we've been relegated to the kitchen, perhaps we should make ourselves a cup of coffee.
No, Hastings. I know exactly the kind of coffee they would have in a house like this. And
Oh, what are you doing here? Are you the police?
Well, not exactly.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't think I've got anything to say to you. My sister was a nice, bright girl with no men friends.
I'm not a reporter, if that's what you're getting at.
Where's Mum and Dad?
Your father is showing the police your sister's bedroom. Your mother's in the sitting room, I believe.
So, who exactly are you?
I, mademoiselle, am Hercule Poirot.
Oh, I've heard of you. You're the fashionable private sleuth, aren't you?
As a description, I suppose it must suffice.
Somehow I don't see why Mr. Hercule Poirot should concern himself with our humble little crime.
Mademoiselle, what you do not see and what I do not see would probably fill a volume. But what I am seeking at this present moment is the truth. Now that you are satisfied that my friend Hastings is not from a sensational daily paper, it would greatly assist me if you could tell me what you really felt about your sister.
That she was an unmitigated little ass.
Ah, you are intelligent, mademoiselle. I take it that the opposite of what you said is true about the men crimes.
There wasn't any harm in Betty. She wasn't the weekending kind, nothing of that sort. But she liked being taken out and dancing and cheap flattery and that kind of thing.
And you felt perhaps that she was behaving unfairly towards her fiancé, towards Mr. Fraser?
That's it exactly. Don's a very quiet sort of person. But he did resent certain things. And then he